Okay, so I said the last take for this recording was 45 minutes. I don't want to edit that, and I don't think people want to watch that because I'm not plushy breaking it down like that in depth. So let's try to get this to like under 30 minutes if possible. BB Dubai. She is a really, really strong servant, especially for CQs, regardless of if she's actually buffing other moon cancers and living humans. Like, yes, that's where she's strongest and where she gets the most value as a buffer. But even in normal CQs for other servants, like what she provides is, I'm not gonna say it is invaluable just because this hasn't been offered really by other servants until now. There never was a servant that was like spamming MP damage like this while staying on the field. We had Miss Crane, we have Summer Chloe, but those two dip out, and BB, if you're able to have the regen, can keep spamming her MP as a support or keep spamming her MP as a DPS. It really kind of doesn't matter. Just, you're gonna see BB probably a lot in CQs. So first skill, or sorry, not even at the skill first. Base attack, 10.7k attack. At level 90, this is on the lower end, but it's not everything for a BB, especially just because of one of her passives. It's actually like really dumb, like how stupid her passives are. But yeah, don't worry about this. This number isn't even her real number for the majority of her farming. And this HP, it's even better. And on this number here, if BB was a ruler, holy shit, she'd actually be one of the tankiest servants in the entire game. Like, no joke. Her other passive makes like this, if she was a ruler, like, you wouldn't be able to fight her unless it was an Avenger or a Berserker with defense pierce. You could not fight BB neutral. That's how nutty one of her passives is. And that combined with this HP, and if you happen to grail her to like 120, like that exacerbates how like strong it is. Sargen is at 14.8%. I like this number for moon cancers and foreigners. It's like it's not assassin level and it's not pretender level, but when they have good quick cards, like you notice the star gen difference. MP charge at 0.33%. This isn't the end all be all worst thing. Like Summer Ibuki has MP gain that's like similar to this, but different profile, just because like she has different buffs. And yeah, different buffs and different niche, like entirely. But 0.33% with a 5-hit AoE arts MP, it's fine. Any other buffers, like, and she also provides a lot of the other stuff for herself. Is like she's not that far off Ibuki, but her looping, like, because she's not a berserker, her looping is just not going to be as clean. But she has to fight neutral most of the time, while Ibuki is like fighting like 1.5 effect. Yeah, quick cards are fucking fantastic. These 5-hit quick cards pair really well with the star gen. Would you like most of the time you're going to be spamming arch chains though, but if you have to click the quick card, you're gonna actually get stars from it. Arts cards, if these do not crit, they're not gonna feel that good, but they're gonna have so many arts buffs and MP gain buffs, these shouldn't be that bad. I wouldn't count on them to get you like half your MP unless you crit, but it still should be good enough. All right, first skill. This is multifaceted. I like to see like Summer BB as trying to steal from the best of all the other characters in the game. She wants to be the best. She's a cheat character, so obviously she's gonna steal from the best. This skill right here, to me, feels like if she tried to merge Oberon's first skill, Astoria's second skill, and her third skill, and just put it all together in one skill. Because that essentially is what this is. AoE 20 arts instead of an AoE MP damage, AoE 20 battery, AoE 30% MP damage, AoE 30% MP gain. But the restriction from where she differs from Oberon and Castoria is that this is limited to only moon cancers and living human. These are not things you can like take away or sorry, not take away, add with certain traits. Like you cannot make a servant a living human. You can make them evil, you cannot make them a living human. And obviously you can't change their class either, because there is no servant that can actually do that. We don't have Zora. Yeah, we don't have Zoroa in or Zorak in FGO. So unfortunately you can't get buffs whenever you want from whatever servant you want. But this last one, party preservation target buff, this applies only to supportive MP BB. If you plan on swapping out characters, make sure you do the swap first before you pop BB skills. Otherwise, whoever comes in isn't gonna get the benefit from BB's MP, as long as she's doing support MP. If she's doing offense MP, this kind of doesn't matter. But they're like for the DPS BB, you're probably still using another BB as support. But yeah, for general arts looping, this isn't that good of a skill. Being completely honest, like Paracelsus, no, not Paracelsus, Asclepius. He technically does more for your art sleeper than this. Because if they're not living human or moon cancer, they don't get the MP gain. So Asclepius kind of would be a better loop support now with his buff than BB. If you're only strictly looking for looping, use a 3-star instead of a 5-star. But BB brings a lot more damage than Asclepius does in his entire looping benefiting kit. If they're moon cancer or living human, she literally elevates from Asclepius to Castoria / Oberon. The moon cancer she works well with, obviously herself. You can use Talak, but Talak, she very might cap out on MP damage if she's used with BB, but BB will also provide a shield for her, so to work with Talak's kit. So BB really is gonna work with all these servants. It's just like Summer BB probably not. Like you'll use her with other characters, but pretty much everyone else here is gonna work with her in some capacity for a CQ. All of them could really use her buffs. So that's the moon cancers. Living humans is at like where I think it gets interesting, because Bazette's here, and Bazette really wants MP damage, and BB not only can provide the MP damage, also debuff immunity and an invo, which really helps with Bazette's gameplay. Like BB, despite not being Scotty, probably is buffing up Bazette as much as a Scotty. Alco, when she's in super Alco form, is not gonna get any better than Summer than BB Dubai from one character. She literally provides with this first skill everything Alco wants to be able to be looping effectively. But getting to super Alco in normal farming is A, it's already multi-core. B, you can see kind of the hesitation. Like the only issue is like you have to clear wave 1, so it's not that big of an issue. Just use like Arash or probably Habitrot, but party cost starts to be an issue. If you know Alco already has it MP twice just to get the first AoE MP. Like like you need to be popping at least 4 MPs if you're using an outgo team, unless she's actually able to face guard like wave clear. But that's just these two. CL is both living human and moon cancer, same with Jinako, but these are one buff. They do not get to double up on it. Truly unfortunate, because then Jinako actually would be one of the like fucking goated looper if she actually got double buff from that. Yeah, no. Okay, so if Jinako actually got double buff from this stuff, BB actually would be a better support for her than Castoria, just because of like how much MP gain like Jinako would actually be getting. Because you try looping with Jinako, you're gonna be very disappointed, like really disappointed with how bad she loops. Like she is not getting her MP back strictly from art MP. She needs arts guards to follow up or getting hit. But who else? Tez, Durga, and Muramasa are like the big ones for me. I'm gonna include Alice in that too. Yeah, I'll include Alice in that too. And like, if you pair BB with Alice, Alice isn't fucking dying. Like, Alice is already one of the tankiest servants in the game for the fact that she has a unremovable dodge every 2 turns. That's also a battery that can never be buff removed, and like stacks with solid defense. Like, so all like even the protection BB gets is just gonna stack on with how tanky Alice is. Tez, living human, and his MP gives battery to everyone else in the party, and he ramps up MP damage. There is some synergy with trying to get BB to pop again, but Tez is one of those units where he is going to cap out on MP damage so quickly if you use him with BB, especially if you're trying to pop multiple times. You're gonna have to use a different CE than Black Rail, just because you are going to hit the ceiling too quickly and your damage is gonna cap out. So instead of like, this was done in testing on stream, instead of you would cap out, I think, at around 900,000 if it was like double BB Oberon, or I think it was Oberon, double BB Oberon. He wouldn't refund enough. He was hitting MP damage cap when I tried to calc him, like, just to see it, not in a normal looping situation, but just like if he could MP, how hard would he hit with double BB pops and that stuff. It really wasn't as high damage as it should have. I did the same with Durga, and hers was like noticeable. Like, her cap out was like, I think 1 million hitting neutral when using her, and against 3 enemies. But using her with trying to pop Castoria's MP multiple times, like it was just double Castoria Oberon with I think 3 Castoria pops, her damage was like 1.8 billion. So BB, she is good. She's not fully replacing Castoria. Not even for these servants. But that is a huge but, only if you do not, or only if you're popping Castoria MPs as often as possible. If you do not cast Castoria MPs like normally in farming, like you don't care about doing arts chains or any of that, BB is probably gonna make your damage consistency just go up, because you're more likely to pop Castoria MP and BB's her own MP. Your base average damage that you see in the normal node should go up, but also your time to clear is going to go up. So if you really value really quick run times, like you don't care about doing more damage than you have to, you're probably not going to be using BB, just because she does add more time to the run. I like seeing big numbers on the screen, so to me, like, how long a run takes doesn't really matter. Second skill, and this is one of the most broken. This skill is so disgustingly broken. This in combination means if the enemy wants to do damage to you, no matter what, unless you are debuffed to hell and back, they need to waste a turn just to have some kind of buff to do something to you. Reduces the attack by 100%. This is the equivalent to you having 100% defense. The enemy, unless you, the player, will have defense down on you. Actually, that actually might not work because of how the formula is. If this turns into a 0 in any part of the multiplication, you're gonna have 0 damage. Like based on the formula. So I don't even think putting a defense down on you, the player, is gonna do anything to them doing damage. I think they need to have some kind of attack buff to fight off this attack down. Very, very similar to the super recollection with Neza. Neza, like if you cannot get your attack high enough, or you don't have super effective honor MP, you are not doing a lot of damage to Neza. There is so many negative modifiers on your damage that the super recollection for Neza, there's a reason Summer Reese is like one of the only servants people use for it. Even like 120 like MLB Black Rail, Summer Reese still out damages it just because like how many different buffs she has buffing, while most servants are struggling to reach like the wide variety of buffs she has. In addition to the fact you can't use double Castoria, which is a huge source of attack buff for a lot of servants. But yeah, so you make it so they can't do damage, and then you take away all their buffs. So even if they had massive buffs that could fight off this, they don't have them anymore unless they're unremoved. Not like the fact that both of these are AoE. This is disgusting. Like this by itself has always been a 6-turn cooldown. Like all this on top of it is just true like butter for BB. Arch threads down 20%. This is essentially an arch buff that is just on the enemy. I thought it was closer to Honkai's formula. Had to go double check it. Works completely different. Yeah, so that's just what happens when you play different games. You mix up how things work. Non-preservation target. This is super effective mod or BB's offensive MP. Up star gen, ups crit damage of Moon Cancer and living human allies. This skill, besides this part, has almost nothing to do with farming if BB isn't the DPS. And even still, this is, you wait till turn 3 to pop this. And then this part, it's really showing the CQ nature of what BB wants to like do as a support. She's not trying to like take Castoria's role. She's trying to like fill in for a role that isn't there and make Art's crit an actual like consistent thing for Moon Cancers and living humans. Because Popiciana, she helps. Not like the best with making all of the Moon Cancer just like in general like really better. It's only if they can take advantage of her arts crits. Like art servants being able to guarantee make stars at 100% star gen, it hits different. This is Caster Gill's buff, and BB gives it for Moon Cancers and the living human. Crit damage buff, this is probably the weakest buff she honestly gives, like in the entire kit. Like I think the 20 arts is like better than this 30%, but at least she does give crit damage. At least she gives some crit damage. Yeah. Third skill really does make this broken, and she turns like normal. Like these are like, I think these cooldowns are pretty fair. Like again, AoE buff strip, this has always been a 6-turn. This, I don't have the exact number, but I do think like 6-turn for not these two effects, but everything else altogether does make sense. But all of these are actually on a lower cooldown, and pair with Tamamo, like BB actually might have 100% uptime on all her skills, which if you're not fighting someone with AoE buff strip, this BB MP spam might be a little easier to do than Castoria. I'm not saying it is easier. I'm just saying like it might actually be easier just because of how many arch chains and how much batteries just like in chains like teams like this. Like I think BB, offense BB, support BB, and then Atomamo is like pretty consistent in like popping MPs pretty much every other turn. And then with Tamamo, like this is already gonna be a 6 turn. So Tamamo like every other turn popping her MP, maybe every turn, just depends on how things go with it. Yeah, like BB, like offense BB MP, Tamamo, and then other BB. Yeah, because I like yeah, because Tamamo is gonna need more help refunding, because in a team like that, both BBs are gonna have higher MP gen rate than Tamamo, even though their base gain is like almost identical. Also Tamamo just does have better arts cards, like, but BB is more likely to crit on the arts cards. Yeah, but besides skill cooldown, like really bringing like all these to like a almost spammable level, 50% battery, and she can change whether her MP is supportive or damaging. In actual terms, like this is just a 50 battery, and this is just an extra effect on a 6-turn cooldown. Honestly, this is kind of the tamer skill. It's like more the skill cooldown that makes the other two skills better than this skill being awesome. It's like, yeah, it's like it's just really these two effects and just bring everything else down. Let's get to these really stupid passives. So item construction C, 6% debuff success rate. Magic resist EX, 25% debuff resistance. Future management, 20% crit resistance and 20% star weight. Attack buff against evil alignment, good anti-good mods, or enemies that have anti-good, or non-servants just gets a passive 10% attack buff, like always. And then fighting against lawful alignment, anti-evil mods, or all servants, 20% defense. Are you actually fucking kidding me? That she has a passive 20% debuff defense against literally every single fucking servant in the entire game, never on a cooldown. Her worst enemies are literally enemies that have defense pierce, because they'll just inherently do more damage than any other servant in the game against her, besides like counterclass. So a ruler that can spam MPs that have defense pierce inherent are BB's worst nightmare. But that is also situational. Yeah, last passive, another 25% debuff resistance. So like she has base 50 debuff resistance along with all this other shit. You guys remember that Matahari doesn't even have a passive? Ooh. All right, pen skills, you're only gonna care about these two, especially if you plan on doing like a double BB Tamamo team to just like keep spamming. You're gonna want this just so you don't start off slow and the first cycle, it's 4-4-5, right? Yeah, the first cycle of that CQ is going to be a 4 turn, 4 turn, 5 turn cooldown on all this stuff. And again, if you pop that with Talbot, that's almost 100% uptime, possibly even double stacking. And then this just lets you start off quicker, whether you're offense or defense. I chose to get this one first for BB instead of going for skill cooldown, just because like the skill cooldown is good for arts because of Tomobo, but it's much better for Buster or Quick. Significantly better for Buster. All right, MP. Let's start with the support one because this is the one I'm going to be using the most. This is one of the best support MPs for CQs in the entire game. Castoria comes very... She's not that far off Castoria's MP. She does not provide an attack buff, but she does provide AoE party invo for a turn, debuff immunity for a turn. Like, this combo is awesome because Castoria can't do this as long as you're fighting someone without buff removal. In some cases, this is going to be better protection because if you're fighting someone or you're fighting in a fight that's going to have 3 AoE MPs spammed at you, Castoria, if she only has 2 stacks of solid defense, you're shit out of luck. You're going to get hit by the third one. BB, as long as they don't have Invo Pierce or something like that, your whole team is going to be set for that turn, and you'll get all that MP gen from getting hit by all those MPs. It does provide MP damage, though, and the fact that she can spam this MP just like you can with Castoria spam, and it even has the same damage ramp up based on MP copies. And then this last part, extra battery on top at the end of the MP for people that have buff from her first skill. In my personal opinion, I do think you should be popping Tomomo's MP before this one, just because she has higher scaling on the OC, number 1, and then 2, BB Dubai isn't... she's just gonna have an easier time getting back to her MP than Tomomo would. And if BB's not popping her MP, she'll get charged from Tomomo. They don't have to be like going off on the same turns. Like, you could alternate. Like, it's not gonna be a cadence where like you need to try to get the highest overcharge on both of them, because it doesn't really affect damage that much. Damage, like the OC is literally just battery for both of them. Yeah, so moving on. Offensive MP. Anti-Sky power mod, Anti-Star. This is the first Anti-Star power mod that's been introduced in the game. There is no super effective against Star attribute. They had, in order to do Star, you had to like know what specific traits they had, or again counterclass, but counterclass is not enough these days. So 2 rare power mods, really good as a DPS. 5-hit AoE. Archer is down after damage though, and when you tag people with the second skill, that's how you activate her super effective, and that's will scale off OC. So this is the reason why you want 2 BBs in a CQ, because if you're not doing cooldown reduction, you're not gonna have good uptime on her super effective. It's not gonna be able to be activated. But because of how her cooldowns work, again, if you are in a Tomomo comp, you might actually be able to get away without using a second BB just because of like the MP spam. Like, it's always gonna depend on the CQ and whether you wanna, like, what you wanna do. But I think this is just like so much good utility for CQs that Castoria just kind of isn't that good at. There aren't a lot of CQs that she's not good at, but like constantly spamming, like you getting debuffed to hell and back before your turn starts, like specifically you get stunned or skill sealed, during the enemy's turn, Astoria kind of can't do anything about that, while BB actually can. And if you're able to spam her MP, that's not really gonna happen that often. Woo, we cut down so much time. Awesome. 15 minutes off the last recording. Let's go. All right, so this last part is really gonna just fly by. I'm personally of the belief that Moon Cancers, Alter Egos, and Rulers are the easiest classes to level, just because you just have to do events and you have to do lottos. If you do that, you should never have problems leveling those specific classes. Again, I do, like every event I do, always try to clear out the shop entirely. And then for lottos, I do a whole lot of boxes, so these are almost never a concern for me. You are going to have to clear OC2, but in order to do 3, you kind of have to do 2. Well, you don't have to, but you do get a message saying, like, go clear OC2 first before you do this. But not the worst mats. And this is in OC3. There, from my understanding, there is not a good way to obtain these, so right now we cannot change pen skills, so that's kind of why I just glossed over these other 3. She does have anti-moon cancer, interesting. But you shouldn't be trying to unlock all these appends, because you're not, like, you can get them up to 8, but you should not be burning this mat while it's as restrictive as it is right now. I think we're gonna get way more characters than just what we got from Summer, because they're not gonna introduce these mats and like have BB Dubai be literally the only one to use it, like, because CL is not using this mat. None of the characters from LB1's banner, or sorry, Summer 9's banner 1 is using this map, from my understanding. Yeah, not even the other characters are using this. Right. And finally, Bond CE, power mod against non-preservation target status, and then MP Gen against allies that have preservation target from her first skill. I think this servant is sick as fuck. Her Bond CE actually does have a very good use. Like, I think this is so much stronger than Castoria's Bond CE, although this technically does have a limited duration, but depending on the fight, like, you technically could, like, only as support BB. DPS BB should not be running this even for this part, but support BB is a hell of a lot better than 10% attack and 10% MP gain. All right, I want to get this morning stream before I go to work. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like or sub. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.